So here's a thought that's been rattling around my head. What if Honda, yes, that Honda, the one that plays it safe 99% of the time, dug up one of the most slept-on dual sport legends ever made and actually made it work for 2026? Not just a nostalgia cash grab, something that matters. Stick with me, because we're about to tear into the Honda XL200R 2026 concept. And by the time we're done, there's one spec. One weird little detail that Honda might be quietly hiding, and it could totally flip how you feel about this bike. You're watching Motometrics. Let's roll. Okay, real talk. When's the last time somebody said, with a straight face, you know what motorcycling desperately needs? A 200cc trail bike. Never, right? Probably never. Because most of us are over here drooling on our keyboards over leader bikes and big adventure tourers that cost more than a decent used sedan. But here's the kicker. Honda's actually whispering something smart with this concept. Smarter than it looks at first glance. The original XL200R showed up in 1983. Simple, light, stupid reliable. Built for the kind of rider who just wanted to ride. No drama, no ego. It wasn't trying to smoke a ninja off a stoplight. It was trying to take you wherever you pointed the front wheel. Then, Honda killed it. The world moved on. Most people forgot. But Honda, they never really forget, do they? So what is this 2026 XL200R concept exactly? Let's be clear. It's a design and engineering proposal Honda's been floating around. A spiritual successor to that old XL line. Modern dual sport chops, but with that old school, keep it simple, stupid charm. Almost like Honda's asking one question out loud. What if we built a bike anybody could ride, anywhere, without selling a kidney? The answer, apparently, looks like this. Engine first, and this is where it gets fun. We're talking a revised 200cc single-cylinder four-stroke. Air-cooled, yeah, old school, but with fuel injection. Before you roll your eyes and mutter, boring, hear me out. The original made about 16 horsepower at 8,000 RPM. That was 1983 tech. Modern fuel injection, tighter machining, better combustion design, you could push that to 20 to 22 horsepower and get way better mileage. We're talking maybe 80 to 90 miles per gallon in real-world mixed surface riding. And with gas prices doing whatever they want these days, that actually matters. Transmission's a 5-speed manual, keeps the original simplicity, but they're adding a modern slipper clutch. The 83 definitely didn't have that. Small upgrade, but huge for new riders who panic downshift mid-corner or on a loose trail. Quick question, ever bought a bike that looked killer in photos, then totally fell apart the second you took it off pavement? Yeah, me too. Honda seems determined to avoid that trap here. The frame, projected to be a steel semi-double cradle, lighter than a full cradle, stiffer than a cheap single down tube. Ground clearance around 10.6 inches, solidly in dual sport territory. You're not sending it off cliff faces, but forest trails, gravel fire roads, and that sketchy unpaved shortcut you've been eyeing for 2 years? Absolutely. Suspension's conventional telescopic forks up front, about 7 inches of travel, with a monoshock out back giving around 6.3 inches. Not race spec, but way better than most commuters in this class. Wheels follow the classic formula. 21-inch front, 18-inch rear. Eats trails without feeling awkward on pavement. Now let's talk weight, because this is honestly one of the coolest parts. The concept's targeting a wet weight of 265 to 275 pounds. In a world where mid-size adventure bikes often hit 450 to 500 pounds fully loaded, this thing's a feather. That lightweight changes everything. How it flicks through tight spots, how forgiving it is for beginners, how easy it is to pick up after a slow-speed tip-over on a trail. And trust me, on trails, slow-speed tip-overs happen to everyone, even the guys who swear they never drop their bikes. Sure, buddy. And here's the part I teased at the beginning, the genuinely surprising bit. Among the concept's listed features, Honda seems to be exploring a basic traction control system on a 200cc bike. That would be, as far as I know, one of the first times traction control has appeared on a sub-250cc machine at this price point. We're not talking Africa Twin-level cornering ABS with 6 modes, but even a simple single-channel system that stops the rear wheel from spinning up on loose surfaces, that's a genuinely useful safety feature for exactly the kind of riding this bike is built for. Add standard ABS on the front brake, and this thing starts to look like one of the safest entry-level dual sports Honda's ever considered building. Alright, price, because none of this matters if it costs as much as a used Civic. Looking at Honda's current lineup, the XR150L sits around $3,799 plus MSRP. A production version of the XL200R concept would probably land somewhere between $4,500 and $5,200. Not confirmed. This is still a concept, and Honda hasn't slapped a sticker on it yet, but that's a realistic range based on comparable bikes and Honda's pricing history. For that money, you'd get a bike that weighs nothing, sips fuel, handles street and trail, and comes with Honda's famous "it just works" reliability. That's not bad. That's actually kind of ridiculous if they pull it off. So who's this bike actually for? On the surface, a 200cc bike sounds like just a beginner thing. And yeah, it'd be an incredible first bike. Seat heights projected around 32 to 33 inches, so shorter riders can flat-foot it. Forgiving power delivery means you won't scare yourself day one, but it's not only for beginners. Think about the experienced rider who wants something to throw in a truck bed and hit the trails without worrying about trashing a $12,000 machine. Think about the commuter who needs insane fuel economy, easy lane splitting, and cheap insurance. Think about the weekend explorer who wants back roads and forest trails without a full-on adventure rig. The XL200R speaks to all those people. That's actually a bigger audience than Honda's marketing team might realize. Will it actually go into production? That's the million-dollar question. Honda's been quietly expanding their accessible dual-sport lineup. The XR150L sells well. The CRF300L found a strong following. There's clearly demand for something in between, performance and price-wise. The XL200R concept fits that gap perfectly. Full production announcement coming? No idea. Honda's tight-lipped. They always are. But the fact this concept exists, the spec sheet's detailed enough to suggest real engineering work, and it's generating honest conversation in the dual sport world, that points to more than just a design exercise. And if Honda greenlights it, the used market for small dual sports is about to get very interesting. So that's the 2026 Honda XL200R concept. Lightweight, fuel injected, possibly traction controlled, under $5,200, reviving one of Honda's most underrated nameplates. Whether you're a new rider, a trail rat, or just someone who likes a bike that does what it promises without drama, this one's worth watching. If you want to keep poking around Honda's dual sport lineup, I've got another video right here breaking down how the current CRF 300L actually stacks up against the competition. And the answer might surprise you. Go ahead and tap it. It's in the end screen right now. You made it this far, might as well keep going. This has been Moto Metrics. See you on the next one.